Hi, welcome to the Cables, Lace, and Tails podcast. My name is Sue, and I am a maker from northwestern Wisconsin. As you can see, I'm in my car. My car is not on. I am not driving. I am sitting at my parking lot at school. Why are you sitting at your parking lot at school, you ask? Well, simple thing is that my husband is home today. This is why it's gonna be a short and sweet podcast because I only have a half hour before I have to start work. And I thought, why don't I just do it real quick and get it done and tell you the story. So let's start at Easter. We had to go up to the Twin Cities for Easter, and I just had this bad feeling, and I didn't know what it was. And I just was so worried. And in my mind, I thought I was going to come home to my house on fire. And I was like, just stop it. You're just being old. You're just letting fear take over. So we left. We had a nice time. We got home. The house was not burned down. I was like, see, you're making, mountains out of molehills type thing. So then Monday I had to work. My daughter they didn't have school for students. It was a work day for teachers and paras. Staff overall. Fine, everything went fine. And then Tuesday, I went to work. I stayed late to help with a bus line, and then I just had this feeling all day long. Now, I don't know, it was just a really bad feeling. I see someone leaving the parking lot, and I'm getting nervous about talking to myself on the camera here. Okay, so I just had this horrible bad feeling, and I thought to myself, well, maybe it's residual effects to eating MSG. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to back up. Earlier in the week, before Easter, Tuesdays are our staff treat day. And one of the staffs brought in this chip beef dip. It was delicious. It was so good. I had about a tablespoon of it, and I just ate it right before I had to go do some stuff. It was delicious. As I was finishing eating the dip, I thought to myself, I wonder if this has MSG in it. It did. MSG really affects me digestively. I get really bad headaches. And that did happen. So I flushed my system with water. But one thing I noticed a day later was how dark my thoughts were. And I stopped myself at one point. And I'm like, I didn't think like this yesterday. And I didn't think like this last week. And I used to think like this all the time when I was eating MSG. Cheetos, Doritos, all that stuff. And I have given up all that since, about 25 years ago. So I thought, well, that's really interesting. I always have believed that MSG was a neurotoxin. It really affects me. I have debilitating headaches on it. So, okay, fine. Well, then I thought, well, maybe I ingested MSG on Easter because we ended up eating at McDonald's, which, I maybe do every other year on these kinds of trips. And I remember eating the double cheeseburger and just being really grossed out because I don't like double cheeseburgers. It's just too much. And I was just like, all right, just eat it. Don't complain. And then I thought to myself, I wonder if this has MSG in it. It probably does. Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, so I thought, well, maybe that's why I'm having all these dark thoughts on this past Tuesday. Today is Thursday. So 2 days ago, I thought, well, maybe it's just the after effects of MSG. I did eat quite a bit of it over this past week. I didn't mean to. It just happened. So I thought, all right, just flush the system. But the feeling wouldn't go away. I was going to go run an errand after work, and I just was like, no, go home. Go home. And I thought, well, maybe I'm missing an accident. I don't need to go on this errand right at this moment. I can do it another day. So I went home, took care of my dog, ate a little something, and I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just so I was so like I didn't know what to do. And I said, just stop it. Get up and do something, and then maybe you'll feel better. So I went downstairs to do a load of laundry, and I heard this buzzing sound, like when you hear a hornet or a fly hit the window, bzz, 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 you know. And I thought, all right. I looked up to the window. It's also April in Wisconsin. We don't have a lot of flies and hornets at this time of year, and they wouldn't be in the house. And I thought, well, that's weird. And there wasn't anything. So I thought, okay, now what is this? And this is really weird. And then I heard it again, and it was coming from my ancient electrical box. I opened up the box, and I could hear the electricity moving around. I did not see smoke. I did not smell anything. So, I was like, okay, that part is better than it could be. And I ran upstairs to get my phone to text my husband, who was at work. He goes on break at 4:30. This is between 3:30 and 4:30. I was texting him, telling him what I heard. As I was doing this, the water heater turned on. And all of a sudden it was like, bzz, bzz, like a really big draw of energy. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm bleeping myself. But, okay, what am I going to do? So he's not answering because he can't have his phone active while working, which is a good policy. But I'm like, all right, I got to call an electrician. I called probably about a handful of electricians, finally got a hold of some guy in Alma Center, which is like an hour away or so. Anyway, I was talking to him, telling him what I heard, telling him what I saw, telling him what I didn't smell. And he's like, all right, well, turn off your water heater. And he told me how to turn off that breaker because nothing's labeled. And this is a very old breaker system. I mean, old, like 80s, 1980s. So, or maybe even 70s. I don't know. So I did that. We were talking some more. He said, well, you have an electric water heater. I said, actually, no, we have a propane. And he's like, shut down the house. So I shut down all the power to the house. We did get an electrician in probably closer to 8 o'clock that night. Xcel Energy had to come and turn off the main power supply because it was too dangerous to even work with. My husband stayed home today because there is still some sizzling happening, and we are in the midst of waiting for a refurbished part, which I'm really hoping that we do not find, because I would rather pay the more costly price of putting a brand new box in our house. I don't know what is happening. I don't know anything more than that. We're not using the quick fix bypassed that one big switch, I believe. We cannot run our stove or oven. We cannot run our dryer. I'm afraid to use the washer. So we're doing very minimal lights. Last night, the internet and water heater both conked out at the same time because they were on the same switch. That's why the sizzling was happening. We do have a fire alarm in that area to notify us at drop of the hat. So I'm glad he's home, but I don't feel comfortable sitting and talking to myself about my stuff in the house with him there. It's just, I don't even want my daughter to hear me, because it's just weird. So what have I been doing during this time? Oh, actually, it's supposed to go like this, but I kind of like this better. I don't know how good this is coming out on the camera because I'm in my car using natural daylight. This is Bargello. It's a I don't even know what it's called. I don't have my book here. I forgot to look, but it's it's like it has a lot of movement. I chose the colors to represent spring. This to me represents spring. I have this color for my crocuses in my front yard. This could be either the daffodils or the sunshine that we get. This is the fresh new grass that is growing. These are the light blue skies that are shining when the sun is shining. And pink, well, I just love pink. I don't know. This is all yarn from my stash. I have a feeling that this was like my grandma's yarn because she had a lot of this color. So, you know, my grandma, my crocheting grandma. It is beautiful. I did mess up a little bit. So down here, I started with, what did I start with? I believe I started with the green. And I increased the lengths on each section because I wanted it to fill the whole canvas. And over here, I did 9, and then like 9 single ones. So 9 stitches. And then here it was supposed to be like 3, but I did 6. And then this one was supposed to be 1, 2, and I did 3. And then the 4, it was only supposed to do 1, and I did 3. And then I just kind of did this. But then over here, I had some left over. So I think this is like 11. It's still pretty. I mean, I could hold it like this, and it looks like it's going down a hill. And then down here, if you can see, there's a little bloop. Well, I started one up, but then up here I finished right at the edge almost. And I wanted it to be somewhat similar. So yesterday I just went through and added that one row. This has helped me so much. I love needlepoint. I love being able to poke things when I am nervous. It gives me this sense of control that, oops, and I did that one wrong. Sense of control that I can just do. I have knitted very little in the past 2.5 days. I did bring something. It's in my bag here. I'm not even going to take it out because I'm in my car. My car isn't the, pristine area that I want it to be in. So I'm just going to show this today. It is beautiful. I like this. It's like a hill. You're going down a hill full of flowers and butterflies and bees buzzing. So that is my story. This is going to be, a relatively short video than I normally do because I did work on my vegetable patch cardigan, my Dolce V-neck cardigan. I worked on my Patton's cable. I worked on socks. I worked on my cherry sweater that I haven't shown in quite a while. I made a dishcloth while traveling. That saves me from a lot of anxiety while traveling. It's one thing to be behind the wheel of the car and you're driving and you can control what you're doing. It's another thing sitting in the passenger side with world just happening around you and you hope for the best. So I bring my knitting with. It calms me down. Yeah, so it's been quite a few days. I will say that once I figured out what was happening in my house with the electrical box, the sense of dread dissipated. It was replaced with worry and fear, but those are good feelings to have in a situation like this because you have to be aware, proactive, and diligent. And that's what worry and fear can be. Yes, it can become overwhelming. Yes, it can destroy life as we know it. You become agoraphobic because you don't want to leave the house. You can be, terrified to get in the car and drive somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, life has been quite interesting. I've been thinking about the border. I'm going to have this here. I'm going to whip stitch around. I'm debating what I would like the border to be with the yarns I have. So I want to maintain the spring. Here, I'll show you the back. It's pretty neat. Down here it got a little messy because of all the small pieces, but in here, it looks pretty good. My cat Tallulah, as soon as I bring this out, she starts perching right next to me, and if I'm not careful and I leave my bag open, she dives on in and runs off with a skein of yarn. Yeah, I kind of miss them being in my video. They always give me a little bit of a reassurance that I'm doing something well by either sleeping or, playing with me. So I'm looking at the time. It's been about 15 minutes. I don't have much else to say because I will say a little bit about this. So I got a bunch of this canvas from Joann's when it first was starting to close. I thought I better pick it up now. It's relatively cheap anyway. It was only 20% off, so that wasn't a great deal, but I know it's going to go quickly. So I did buy a number of these. I think maybe 10. Well, anyway, I am using a size 16 tapestry needle. I do have to squeeze the yarn a little bit in there, but it works. I got these at Joann's in January, so way before I even knew they were closing. I am doing it is actually supposed to be worked. This is the top actually. It's actually supposed to be worked sideways, but I've been turning it up like this because in my mind it is the same and it works just as well. And I just love it. I love Bargello so much. The next motif I'm going to do is, I think, called Twisted Rope. It was between this one and that one that I was going to do next, but the next one, I think you use 5 different colors or 4 different colors, and in each rope section has a different color scheme. I think of 3 or 4, so if it's 5 then it's 4, if it's 4 it's 3, and then on the next section of the rope, so they go in different ways. I'll have to show you, it's really cool. But so you use one color in both ropes to like make it cohesive but different. It's really cool. So but I really wanted this motif, and actually in the book it was smaller, and then it had a section of white, and then it had a different color on the next part, but I just wanted the whole thing and just test it out. I love it though. It's so pretty. I like that it shows movement without, it's just so cool. Well, anyway, hopefully next week I'll be back with my traditional podcast. I probably will have a lot to talk about because I'll have many things done. And yeah, I better get into work. I know I'm a little early because I left my house an hour before I had to be here because I just didn't know I did not know where to film. I didn't want to film in my garage. I didn't want to film at home. I didn't want to film showing anybody around, and it looks pretty desolate and quiet at this time. I didn't want to do it after school because there's a lot of people here. The parking lot is full. You got parents, you got grandparents, you get buses, you have kids walking home from school. So yeah, I hope that the electrician gets back to us ASAP today, and I hope they can't find a refurbished part. I hope we get a whole new electrical box, and yeah, it's gonna be a spendy fix. Just what it is. So yeah, I'm really stressed out about it, and the best thing I can do at this present moment is to keep on stitching, keep on moving forward. The best thing about my job is that it's so in the now. You have to be present at all times. You can't be in La La Land thinking about whatever. You have to be there at that moment in time. You have to be aware of everything going on. You have 100 zillion things to think about at any given time. You have to make sure everyone is being safe, everyone is being okay. There, I finished the line. I finished the line. Yay! And I don't have anything with me, so I'm just going to let it sit here. And then I have my needle, and I'm just going to put it in my bag, and I'm just going to put everything away, and I'm going to go in and take care of the day. Which way is it supposed to go? It's supposed to go this way. This is the way it was supposed to be, but I don't like that. I like this. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate all the subscribers. Thank you, new subscribers. I really appreciate you. I really enjoy the likes. Seeing that makes my whole day. It makes me so happy. Like, yes! Woohoo! Anyway, thank you for stopping. Take care and have fun. Bye for now.